Kid for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, I get it in, I get it in.
What's going on, people? Welcome to today's episode of The Flex, and it's a big one, man. I got my guy Bobby Kassanga with me today. First of all, Bob, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm as good as can be. Been a lot of emotions over the last sort of 10 days or so. Conflicting emotions, anger, upset, annoyed, fed up, tired, grief, all of that stuff. But yourself?
Yeah, all the same emotions you mentioned, and the most one for me is frustrated. Frustrated that it's taken another. We'll call it murder. We'll call it what it is. It's taken another murder of a black man for the people to finally say, you know what, enough is enough. This should have been happening from ages ago. So for me, I'm really frustrated. But let's see what can happen from here.
Absolutely. During today's episodes, I'm sure you guys can know by the video title and obviously what we've started saying, we are going to discuss the racial problems in the world towards black people. I'm not going to dress it up. Like, yes, on the United Stand, and when you guys see me presenting on other different platforms, it's appropriate for me to play devil's advocate and all of that stuff. But this is different. This is on my platform today, and I wanted to invite someone on here that I respect a lot to get his views as well. And we're not going to be dressing anything up today, to be honest with you. At the same time, we're not going to be on here, trying to offend people. But at the same time, if you are offended by some of what we say, maybe that means that it lies in your court, and that's why you're feeling offended. We're not going to shy away from things today. Look, what's been going on with the Black Lives Matter movement and what happened to George Floyd, obviously, is what has sparked this outrage and this protest around the world and this whole situation that we see. But let's not get it twisted. This is something that black people face on a daily basis in all forms of walks of life, whether you're a professional athlete, right down to just a school kid starting out in school. In any walks of life, it happens. But we will start at the George Floyd situation, since that's obviously the main thing in the media right now. But we're going to talk about so much more than that. But Bobby, just to sum up where you're at with the George Floyd situation and his murder at the hands of racist police.
And for me, I'm someone that my missus is like, oh, I can't watch that video, and I'm someone that normally watches video, but for me, I couldn't put myself to watch the whole video. It was too heartbreaking that a man is being murdered live on camera, and nobody is even doing anything. No one's challenging to say, you know what, stop that, and trying to pull the police off. And I guess I understand from their point of view, American police got guns. They're probably thinking they may be a threat as well, but it's anger. I have so much anger that a man's been taken away for no more than having allegedly passed a fake check. Like that does not constitute murder. Does not constitute manhandling him the way they did. And for me, it's something that's been going on for years, for hundreds and hundreds of years, and a lot of people who have had these issues, it's gone undocumented. But thank God for social media, thank God for cameras that this was actually seen, because it would have just been, oh, another black man was resisting arrest, or they would have made up something about him having a weapon. And yeah, so for me, it's a godsend that was actually recorded.
That's the thing now. I think it was Will Smith who said it. He said racism hasn't changed; it's just being documented, and it's so true. Like, on one hand, it's obviously disgusting that we're actually witnessing a murder, let's face it, of a black man who's of no threat to the police at that specific time. He was already handcuffed. The officer with his knee on his neck is just chilling with his hand in his pocket. We all know that if you're under threat or you feel under threat, that's not your stance. No. Simple as that. Even to the point, Bob, where I know you said you might not have watched the video, but it really brought a tear to my eye, pretty much, was the fact that even once he lost consciousness, Bob, the guy continued, and even when up until the paramedics came and the trolley was kind of there ready to wheel him, he still had his foot on his neck. And the way they just picked him up and put George on there was heartbreaking. And look, at the end of the day, what we're now discussing or seeing, obviously, is the looting and the protesting that's going on in America. We're now starting to see protests over here, and what shocked me, do you know what, Bob? No, it don't even shock me. That's what hurts me the most. It doesn't shock me. But what's pissed me off on top of this is actually the reminder of how far we still have to go. Now, I don't want to be Mr. Negative and be like, we're never going to get nowhere. What chance have we got? We've always been oppressed for this time, and it's not going to change. I understand that we have to keep fighting this thing. Like, we've been fighting it this whole time, and we still haven't got anywhere, clearly, because black people are being murdered live on camera. But what pissed me off the most is, like, I'm seeing, like, people in the media, white presenters, white influencers, black influencers, black presenters, whatever. I'm just seeing people discussing this because it should be discussed. Yeah. And I'm looking at some of the comments, Bobby, and I'm seeing, oh, this is supposed to be a sports channel. Why are we still talking about this? Oh, I come here to talk football. I don't want to hear about politics. Oh, why can't we talk about something different? Oh, this, that, and the other. And I just look and I just thought, we got no chance.
I think we got plenty of chance. I think just as there was an abolishment of slavery, there's abolishment of segregation. This is the next chapter. This is the third chapter that we're going into now, where there is clear power of us as a people, a clear sort of indication of our culture and how we are masters of our own destiny. Because we cannot keep tolerating what's been going on and just being underneath what people tell us and listening to other people's ideals and perception of us. So those people who are commenting and saying, well, why are we commenting about this? This is meant to be a sports channel. No, there will be no sports. There will be nothing going on if we decide we will not take part in this no more. If we decide no, there'll be no more music. What are you going to be listening to in your clubs? So we must now take ownership of our power as black people to say, you know what, enough is enough. You can't just celebrate us in when you see, you can't just go to the club and dance to our music, and then when it comes down to supporting our causes, say, oh no, we don't want to talk about that. That's a bit uncomfortable. That's politics. No, it's not politics. It's real life issues that we've been suffering for over 500 years, and now enough is enough. And now I'm glad that now more white people are seeing it, because let's not get it twisted. Not all white people are racist. In fact, the majority of white people are not racist. There are small-minded people who hold certain power who are racist. And for us now is to change that narrative and take the power. But I think white people who seem to be enjoying our culture now have to come out and support and say, you know what, we stand with you. And irrespective of the comments that people may say, or that you may lose some form of sponsorship, no, stand for something. You must stand for something. You can't just devalue your integrity because of oh, I might lose my sponsorship if I speak out about this. No, like what John Boyega is doing is absolutely remarkable. John Boyega, he's stood up and he's shouted and he's proud about it, and he doesn't care, and that's how we all should be.
It's so true. Yeah, he's a fantastic example. You know, massive role in Star Wars, one of the biggest films ever, one of the biggest, you know, kind of concepts ever. And here is a young black boy from London saying, I don't give a shit. I don't care. He's done that, almost saying, I don't care if directors don't cast me in their next movie because of it. I don't care if Star Wars is the last movie I ever make. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. And that thing of, like, when we were talking about before, Bob, like how black culture is so prominent in society, like that's where I feel like if you can celebrate with us and buy into our culture, whether it be from the way that we dress, we start to see in loads of different communities, like the accent and the slang is now becoming common talk. The music is as big as ever, whether it's Afrobeat, whether it's dancehall, whether it's hip hop or rap, whether it's jazz or whatever.
I mean, if you look at the top 10 in the US, the top 10 singles in the US from last week were all predominantly black, with Post Malone, and Post Malone sort of makes black music anyway. So it just shows how much we are the trendsetters of the culture of society at the moment.
Absolutely. And I've seen some horrendous things about, I think it was a white girl who basically, I don't know if you saw it, but I couldn't see who posted it, but you could see someone had typed it. Basically, oh, just because, you know, I like black boys, black guys, doesn't mean I have to speak about this. Just, you know, what's my sexual preference have to do with this? And that's just it. There's people out there who have mixed race children. There's people out there who have children of color in some way or form. And in their household, what's the dynamic there? Is enough being done in the household, that is the support mechanism you're talking there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I saw that message and I thought, what a stupid person. What a stupid person. For you're saying just because you like black guys, why should you support the cause? What about if there are no black guys for you to like? What about if all the black guys are being killed in our society? What a stupid person that was. I saw that and I thought to myself, like, these are the sort of people that you need to avoid. That these are the sort of people you should not be having babies with. And she said something about, oh, I just want to have a mixed race child. That's just ridiculous. You can't just take someone's semen and that's all you're gonna do for the black community. Like
Fashion
for me, there's such, and you know what? I don't even blame her. I think she's just ignorant. She hasn't got the knowledge. She doesn't know about our history. And I think in schools in the UK, and I guess we're in England, of course, they're going to teach you about British history. But I think there should be more focus also as black people, as black parents, for us to teach our youths and try to teach some of the white youths about our history. Because some of them just thinking that, oh, black people have always been here. Some of them don't even know. Some of them just think, oh yeah, we've always been here. They've grown up. They don't know nothing about the history of black people from the Egyptian era to the Congo Empire and so on. So sometimes these people are ignorant into our causes and they don't understand the history of slavery, of the segregation and so on. So to be fair, like, it's very, very stupid person, but I guess she's never been taught.
Absolutely. And on the subject of, you know, I've seen a lot of white people be like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't feel like I'm qualified to say anything because I don't understand the experiences. And he won't mind me sharing it. Mark Goldbridge, like, you know, he's my partner in crime pretty much. And, you know, we work very closely together. And we had a great conversation when we ended up doing some content on the United Stand after a good conversation. But what I loved about what he did was he phoned me and was like, look, this is what's going on. The reason why I haven't posted as yet and the reason why I haven't said XYZ is because I feel like if I come out and say this, white and black people will say, you don't know what you're talking about because this is not reality. And he goes, it would be right. It's not my reality. But I still feel like I should stand for something. I said, you know what? What you've just done here by picking up the phone and calling me and us having this conversation is where it starts. This is where the change can start. And then from that, we then felt comfortable we went on our big platform, 700,000 subscribers that are pretty much there for Man United stuff. And we spoke about it, me, him and Rance. And he rang me afterwards and he was like, you know what? Thanks for having me on and thank you for allowing me to actually understand that just because I'm not going through it, it's still my duty to understand and recognize what's going on and be consciously aware of that. Where do you stand on like how white people can empower themselves, or if they're feeling a little bit awkward or a bit challenging about it, where can they stand on this?
I think there's nothing to be embarrassed about. There's nothing to feel awkward about. If you are not racist, yeah, there's nothing for you to feel embarrassed and awkward about. Yes, it's a difficult subject. Yes, it's a challenging subject. However, you need to stand for something. If, for example, I work with a white person and they see me get beaten up and they're just watching and standing there, I'm going to look at you sideways like, you just saw me getting beaten up. So it's the same thing in society, in you using your voice, using your influence and using your platform, your power, whoever it may be, to actually speak out against it. You might not even have a platform. You might just have a black friend. Yeah, that black friend could be your best friend and he goes through this issue every single day. So there's nothing to feel awkward about. Speak up and say, you know what, I'm with you. And what I don't like is that, and I guess you never know, some people can just start jumping on a bandwagon for this seems like a cool thing to say. Let me jump in and say Black Lives Matter as well.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Have some form of research into why you are supporting the cause, not just because you see everyone else doing it. You're saying, okay, everyone else putting a black screen, I'm gonna put a black screen. What does that black screen actually mean to you? What do your black friends mean to you? What does your black colleague mean to you? If they mean something to you, find out what they are on about, why they're being oppressed, and talk about it that way. There's nothing for these people to ever feel offended by or to feel awkward about, because when it comes to all other rights, you speak freely. So speak freely on this as well.
It's true, man. And I think you hear a lot of black people say it's not our job. You know, I saw James Corden say it. I think he was like, we're the ones who created this. We're the ones who should come out with a way to help with this. And I think, look, we can get our LeBron Jameses, our Rihannas, our Tiger Woods, our Lewis Hamiltons, our Anthony Joshuas. We can get these guys and women, yeah, strong black people, Jay-Z, Beyonce, whatever you want to call it, Diddy, whatever. They can do that to the cows come home. But what I'm saying is, yeah, is that is a minority within a minority. Yeah? The minority is black people, and the minority within the black people is rich, successful ones in high positions of power or influence. That's a minority. So really what we need to happen, which is what you were basically saying there, is white people in positions of power, until they start buying into this, that's where the change needs to happen. It's like a CEO of a big company that I don't know, that does recruitment or something like that, whatever company it is. Look at your company structurally. Why is there not that much black people working for you? Is it because they're getting to the test and they're not smart enough to pass it? Or is it because actually from when they put in their CV and you saw that their name was sounding and looking like this versus a man called, I don't know, Martin Stevenson? Have you favored the Martin Stevenson application and not even gone to the other application? Was that
you're 100% correct with that, because I'm seeing all these organizations speak out and say Black Lives Matters, we care. But with all these organizations, how many black people do you have at the top? How many black people do you have in senior management roles? Like, it's all good talking and saying, okay, we stand with black people, but look at your structure. Look at how many people you put in the place of positions to actually affect the change. How many you got working on your diversity team or your HR team? So it's all good saying, okay, yes, we want to support the cause, but let's see the active change. They don't just speak about it. Let's see the active change. Let's see the pay structure. So even if people are in a position of where they got senior role, how much are you paying them compared to you pay the white person or the white lady? Because one thing I understand definitely in terms of the black women are hardly ever put up in a place of seniority in any way in society. So me having a black partner and seeing what she goes through on a daily basis also allows me to say, you know what, like, there needs to be more. You need to actually change your structures, and actually, if you're gonna make a change, it starts from the very top, from you guys speaking that and say, okay, and it's not a box ticking exercise. Yes, the best person should get the job. The person should not get the job just because they're black. I mean, we see it in the Premier League, right? There's a lack of black managers. And at the same time, is that we don't want to just put black managers for the sake of putting black managers, but at the same time, you need to give them opportunities. You need to give everyone equal opportunities to make sure that they are best suited, but you're not even giving us a chance.
Absolutely. And I'm going to share this story, with two of my family members, or two close people. One's my other half, one's my cousin, and they won't mind me. I won't name their organizations, but I'll just share this. And this is the reality of where we're at. So my cousin was due to have a conversation with his employers. He works at a good, big business, worldwide business, about like a year-end thing. And he said, you know what? I don't want to. He sent an email and he sent it to me. He said, what do you think of this? And he said, you know what? The way I've been feeling, I don't want to talk to him about that. Not one of them in the structure of it has addressed what's going on. He said he was just posting things like normal. Normally everyone would go, oh yeah, look at your nice hair or whatever. Look at this on your normal thing. Now he's been posting like this. No one's saying nothing. No one's liking nothing. No one's doing anything. So I get that social media is your own thing and you don't have to bring that into work. So you don't have to like someone's post. But he noticed that. But even away from that, like his top bosses weren't sending out, like you said, information packs, sending out the email saying we're outraged by what's going on to all of our black and ethnic minority employees. Yeah. This is how we feel. And then another thing is, I was saying to my other half, like, I was like, why don't you kind of maybe bring it up, with your thing? And you know what? She was like, at the moment, she just feels like, what's the point? She had an incident where one of their colleagues were racist to another colleague at a Christmas party, and nothing was done about it. They said that the example of it was they were having an argument, and the white girl said, well, anyway, you're black. Literally. Wow. Like, try to use that as well, you can say what you want about me, but you're this. It was that. Wow. That's how deep it was. Cut a long story short, it got to the point of actually, they said to her, oh, we was thinking about maybe asking this girl to maybe come back. They took her into, and she was, what? You even bring me? So from then, she just thought, what's the point of me even saying? And that hurts, because it's like, we've got to look at it. What we're saying with this, how racism is now, systemically racist. The system has been designed from day dot. Martin Luther King said, when black people were free, from when they were even free, we were free, but we weren't free. It was counterparts, immigrants being given land and something to start and build upon, whereas black people were put into areas of segregation, and that was like, those house prices are down, there's not enough money going into that area right from day dot. They don't have access to the right level of schooling, the funding in the communities is not there, which we see right through to the present day. So these things are what really like fundamentally have to change.
And and it also starts with us now being more visible and also championing our role models, championing the right role models. We in the black society sometimes we champion the wrong role models. The drug dealer, the gang member are championed by these young youths. They're the ones who these kids look up to. So we need to say no. Look at the doctor. Look at the scientist. Look at the lawyer. Look at the police officer, I guess sometimes, yeah? Look at what they are doing for their community and what they've come from, and they've managed to achieve this. So now we can say, if they've achieved this, they can now drag a few more of us up with them as well. Don't leave me behind. Let me come up there. Let me join what you're doing. Because what happens that the system is set up for us to fail, and we are allowing ourselves to fail. We're not allowing ourselves to sort of broaden our horizon, and like I always say, think outside the blocks, to think bigger than our estates and bigger than our environment. So if we start seeing more of our people at the top, more of our people as decision makers, more of our people who wield a bit of power, that will allow us to also say, you know what, we want to make these changes as well. Because the system, how it is, it can't last forever. It can't last forever. You can see how now the young people are starting to understand. And my whole thing about, I guess, this period of isolation and this period of being at home, it's allowed media to actually be viewed a bit more. So right now, it's very, very important for young black people to learn their history, learn what's going on. I'm seeing different platforms put it all up, showing our history. So some people are like, bro, I didn't know this. I popped the film the other day about Panther, and people are telling me, what film is this? I'm like, you don't know about Panther? Panther was about how the US government, the FBI, collaborated with the Italian mafia to flood the ghettos with drugs. And this is what it's not even something that's made up. It's actually documented.
True.
It's there. So it's like these people don't even know the history of where they come from and what's been going on to us for over 400 years. And even not just after, just in America, if you look at the Congo, where I'm from, where King Leopold killed more people than Adolf Hitler, but these things are not even documented. They're not even spoken about. Our young black people don't know our history, and we need to give them this history to fire them up, not to go and start a revolution and start a war, but to go and weaponize themselves mentally to say, you know what, I'm gonna beat this. I'm gonna now go out there and create change and fight for our rights, basically.
It's so true what you say, Bob, because like another thing I wanted to speak about today, and you've pretty much just gone into it, is us as black people. How are we helping ourselves, or what are we maybe doing that that doesn't help the cause? Now, listen, I think with this as well, this is where the anger comes into it, because when you look at it contextually, I think that the most thing we think straight away is, I don't care, we don't deserve this, so it don't matter what we do. No one should be treated the way we are treated, and that is fundamentally true. I get that. But I think within that, if we're looking to try and help change to pick up as much momentum as possible, we have to self-reflect upon ourselves. And like you said there, not even knowing your own history, or not even knowing where you're coming from or where you're going to, or what you actually face. Because let's face it as well, Bob, like, I'm not going to sit here and say every time I step out my house, I get racially abused. I'm not going to say that I've been called an N-word, walking down the street before. That's never happened to me before. But have I seen unconscious racism, unconscious, like, covert racism before? Yeah. Have I been outside football grounds where I'm being shouted at and abused for something else? But when I think deeper and look deeper and hear deeper to what they're saying to me, is there racial undertones? Yes. Not with all, but some. Have I experienced racism before in terms of, I said this the other day, where like, we've all been there. You know that, when you go for a night out, Bob, back in your raving days, I know you're retired from that now. But like, you get the whole, not tonight, lads. Not get to the front of the queue. Not to like, you ain't got shoes on, only shoes. And then the white boy comes, walks past with the beat up flipping Vans or Converse and walks straight in.
I think just on that subject there, what we had to do was, there might be 6 or 7 of us, we'll have to sort of put ourselves not together. So
You
one
got to pair
person
up.
go
You
at the
got to
front,
go
split
first.
ourselves up just so we can
Yeah.
get in. It's
And
crazy.
that in this country, I saw Chucky was saying, like, people don't understand how it feels. And this is making white people understand our reality. This whole, like, where you got to Google a country or work out a country before you go there. Spot on. I had to go to Serbia this year, right? To Belgrade. And you know what it's like with their ultras and the fans, the hooligans and the firms and stuff like that. You know, Vuj. No, Vuj?
Yeah.
Oh, Vuj, yeah, Vuj. He's Serbian. So I just reached out to him. I said, bro, I'll be honest, like, I have got this preconceived idea of kind of racial tensions. I don't think they're going to like black people. Where do I go? What do I do? And he kind of broke it down to me. Glad I went because there was no problems whatsoever. I even spoke with the ultras about it. I met up with them, the Partizan Belgrade kind of hardcore fans who do the mad thing. And they weren't racist towards me. They said, look, people think this about us here in Serbia. And he actually told me about their history, the fact of what happened to Serbia in terms of their political wars and how they were segregated. And he goes, do you know how much it cost for us to fly out of this country to come to England? He goes, almost like a whole year's savings. They made it so difficult, and we can't get like visas to go to America. We can't get visas to go to Australia. We're not even allowed to travel because of the Serbian wars and Yugoslavia, all of that kind of politics. I'm not going to go too much into it. But it enlightened me into their struggles. So it just goes to show you, like, we have to, as black people, yes, put out there what it's like to be a black man or black female in this society. And that is what white people need to understand. But at the same time, what are we doing to help push the momentum of this change?
And I put up a Instagram post the other day and saying that if I see another teenager go and kill another teenager over postcode wars, it's gonna make me go crazy. Because if you're seeing that we're all united to fight a cause, why then fighting to kill each other? And don't get me wrong, white people kill each other, Chinese people kill each other, Asians kill each other, and of course black kill each other. But it's like, if now you're saying Black Lives Matter, make sure that life matters, even if it's your gang rivalry. And it just shows that it's stupid, some of these kids, what they're fighting over. They don't even understand what they're fighting over. And us as black people do also need to do better. Yes, let's get at them to say, look, we had enough of your racism. We got our own issues to deal with, but you need to cut out what you guys do to us. But then we must look at ourselves as a black community and say, okay, how do we sort of stop what we are doing to ourselves also to empower ourselves? Because then they'll just look at us, well, they're killing each other anyway, and that just give them justification to say we'll do what we're doing because they do what they're doing to themselves.
You've seen it on social media posts. Oh, no one says anything about the black on black crime. They've been shooting each other and stabbing each other for ages without our help.
And the thing is, that's ignorant as well for them to say, well, they've been. But at the same time, that doesn't, even if that's been happening, that doesn't give you the green light then to say it's okay for racism or it's okay for, and the system has been set up for us to kill each other. It has been set up that way. That okay, put them in the ghettos, flood the drugs area over there. Now there's drug territory. They're gonna fight over it and then leave that in their communities. It's being set up for us. So at the same time, we are now aware. Social media is there. Google, YouTube is there. You can search your history. You can see everything that's been going on to us for over 500 years. They don't teach us that we was once kings and queens. We are still kings and queens, but they don't teach us that we had royalty, that we had big empires. They don't teach us about all these things, and it's about us as black people. You say, what can we do? It's about us educating our youth, because once we're gone 30, 40 years from now, many of us may not be here, but there'll be a whole new generation of young people growing up, and they need to understand the history. They can't just say, okay, we live in a multicultural society and we just accept what's going on. No, know your history and have value of your history. Hold it dearly.
100%. Couldn't agree more. One thing I wanted to touch on as well, is what I've seen. And this is where it's very difficult for us sometimes, because it's like, where do we draw the line? And that is trying to accept white people changing. Now, what I mean by that is, okay, say the Liverpool thing where they all took the knee. Did you see that? Liverpool Football Club, they took the knee on the centre circle. All the players were done it. And they wanted to stand, show that they're standing with what's going on. And obviously, there was that situation probably about 7 years ago now with Luis Suarez and Patrice Evra. Now, what actually happened for viewers who are watching don't know. Cut a long story short, Luis Suarez was racist to Patrice Evra, 100% was racist. And Liverpool Football Club backed the player in Luis Suarez, wore T-shirts saying back him, back him, back him, and nothing was
crazy.
Outrageous. And only really, I think it was last year, I think, they sent a letter to Patrice Evra, I think, and kind of apologized. And Jamie Carragher was on Sky saying at that time, we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have worn them T-shirts. We apologize. Now, this is what Liverpool did that now the other day and put out the picture of them kneeling. Now, what was happening was, where was you 7 years ago? You didn't do this. You didn't do that. Don't try and flip it now. And rare. I understand that. I understand that, because there's a fine line between trying to jump on the bandwagon, like you're saying, Bobby. But there's also a fine line where us as black people, through the pain, through the hurt, through the anguish, have to say, if we are championing for change, when change comes to us, we have to learn or work out a way, or when is the correct time to embrace the change. Because
do you know what it is?
If we just go back and say, yeah, but you used to be racist. You used to be racist. Yeah, we got to pick it wisely, because there are these big companies going, boom, you know what? Stick this post up. Fucking hell, tick the box quickly. But the same establishment 7 years ago is run by different people, has different people that work there, has changed its values. Liverpool got Mo Salah, they got Virgil van Dijk, they got flipping Wijnaldum, they got Origi, they got flipping loads of black players. Trent Mane, big advocate for human rights, and you see what he's doing in his community. Should they be starved of, seeing their teammates stand by them? Jordan Henderson said it was actually, I think it was Van Dijk's idea to do it. And they all stood by him as white counterparts, the club, and said, yeah, we'll stand by you. Now, look, in a football term, I can't stand Liverpool. They're Man United, but it's bigger than that, Bob. I just see it as, I get it as black people, our instant thing is to go, don't talk to me. You were this establishment was responsible for this back then. But what is that establishment like now? I'm just saying, when change comes, we've got to look at when to embrace it.
What it is that why I guess black people are skeptical, because we've been going through this for ages. We've been thinking the change is coming through ages. So when someone shows that change, we're like,
exactly. Is it real?
Let me wait.
Yeah.
That's your first action. But let me see you 2 years from now, what you're doing in 2 years from now. Yes. Let me see you 3 years from now. So sometimes I think that where there's a whole period of like, because I had it myself from my past, where people like, well, wait a minute, weren't you doing this and that? How can you come and preach? But you need to, over time, win people's hearts and win people's trust. So it takes time. So Liverpool may do this now, and people might be thinking, oh, what was you guys doing 7 years ago? So they made their first step to say, you know what, we're standing for this. So let's see over time what that results in. And I guess that goes with all organizations. Okay, you're making statements, you're making comments, you're saying this, you're putting out statements out there. Okay, we're thankful for this, but let's see this in a year's time. Let's see the same energy in 2 years' time. Let's see what happens in a decade. That's when I actually believe that the change is happening.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to highlight that point as a talking point. Not to say, as soon as someone says, oh, sorry for being racist yesterday, mate, I won't call you a black bastard again. Not, oh, let's be friends. I get that. I'm not saying it's that superficial, but kind of feeds into, like you said, prove to us how you're changing though. Is there now a review into your company looking at how to get more black and ethnic minority groups involved in what you're doing? Is there a better or clearer pathway for them to be inclusive in the organization or rise up through the ranks in the organization? Are you looking at your recruitment policy? Are you releasing because my cousin was like basically saying that they asked him to, when he brought it up, they were like, oh, thank you. Yeah, 100%. And then they said this, Bob, this is another thing I want to share. Then they said, oh, could you run something to empower, to show the other employees? And he goes, no. You're getting this all wrong. I'm not coming here to do some PowerPoint thing and be head of minority influence in the company. That's not the job position I'm applying for. I'm telling you that you lot need to be empowering or in educating the white workforce within the company to understand what's going on. That's what
100%.
I'm saying, not give me the black hat and make me wave the flag and say, right, guys, I've been through it. Here's my experiences. This is not the diaries and the days of me. You lot need to be saying, right, just like, and you know what, it's so true. I said to him, when there's mental health, we know what they do. They pay people to come in and tell all the workers about mental health. When there's when they change the GDP guidelines on how to share information and data protection and stuff, we all had to do online training of that. When there's fire safety, the rules get updated. LBGT, all of this stuff. Yeah, people come in and educate the workforce. Does that happen for black people and the struggles that they face? No, it doesn't. That's the sort of thing I want to see in the system.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, there needs to be now a point where companies are reviewing themselves and say, you know what, let's have a meeting and say, where are we going wrong?
Yeah.
Why do people feel this way, and why is it that we feel awkward to even discuss this? Why is it like your cousin's company? Why are we having to ask them how to do things? Why don't we know how to do things ourselves? And similar, like I said, it with my missus was the same thing with her company. They've had to sort of do a Ben group, a black group, to sort of talk about their issues, and then a C. Oh wait, hello.
Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't hear you, but someone managed to call me again, and it's on. Hang on, don't come off of it. I'm gonna refresh.
Yeah, let's let Bobby refresh because we've come too far for this, and it's powerful stuff, guys. It really is powerful stuff, and thank you lot for watching this far at least. And like I said, I'm not going to apologize if you feel uncomfortable because we have to talk about this, man. We have to. I'm going to try and get Bobby in now again. Are you there, Bob?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, apologies. I thought someone's managed to call me again. I'm not sure how.
Navigating the system, they're beating the system.
Yeah, but yeah. So for me, it's the companies have to look at their whole structure and say, okay, who are people in positions? How are the pay gaps? Not just because of skill set, but also let's look at how are we paying our black employees? Where is their career path? Because that's one of the things my missus always goes. She's been working at a company for 5 years, and she feels like she's stuck. Like there's seem to be no progression to senior levels where other people come into the company and all of a sudden they're more senior than her. She's like, what is actually going on? So these are the sort of things that needs to happen. That's why I've been so big on ownership. As black people, we need to sometimes also not have something that's exclusive. Anyone can come and use, like Hanley Football Club, it's black owned, but we don't just say black players. Or anyone can play for our team. You can be Chinese, you can be white, you can be Asian, you can be Somali. It doesn't matter where you're from. But the whole point is that it's ownership, so that we can decide who we want to put as a manager. We've had black managers, we've had white managers, we've given people a stepping stool to actually say, you know what, I want to get into management. So it's about having that form of ownership that allows our own people also that space to actually get into management. Because, like in football, there's hardly any black coaches out there at senior levels at professional clubs. And we want to change that status quo. And it's about ownership. It's about us now empowering us and say, you know what, let's own our own things, not make it exclusive just to us, but let's own our own things that actually gives our own people the platform and opportunities that they're not getting anywhere else.
Facts. All facts, Bobby, all facts. With the protesting now, which has obviously turned violent in some places, especially in America, we're starting to have protests here. A couple of little flare-ups yesterday I saw on social media. But one thing I did pick up on, and a friend of mine who was there, Josh, cameraman Josh, my guy, we were talking about it on the phone, which is what you have is now, because of, I feel sometimes people's intentions aren't always as pure as they seem, and they're misconstruing the message and forgetting themselves as young black people. So what I'm starting to see a lot of is, and I can imagine what's going on. I've worked with youngsters all my life, for the last 10 years as well, before I started doing YouTube. Youth worker in Luton, in deprived areas, know about the stuff, and in a special needs school as well. And what I've started to see is like people looking for the viral moment, people looking for that post that's going to get them 1 million views or 100,000 likes. And that is what I'm starting to see is they're starting to misbehave on a protest, maybe antagonize a policeman, antagonize a law enforcement person who's just doing their job, who's not the direct individual, because it's not one individual that's doing this. It's a system. It's a whole mechanical, do you know what I mean, situation, what's going on. But attack that person wait for the reaction, film it. Oh, look, the police, they're coming, you know what I mean? They're doing this, F the police. I see people going there with the sole intention of, boy, let me try and, man, just standing there, keeping their distance, because our government so far have said, I saw a statement saying that they didn't want too much police presence. They want it to be peaceful. I saw them kind of standing around some of the more iconic monuments, like I think the War Monument, just to make sure no one mashes it up or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you're getting people climbing on things, hanging off things and everywhere. When a policeman wants to tell to get them down, this was what my friend said to me, tell them to get them down because you're breaking law, you might hurt yourself, you might fall on someone else. Get off me, don't touch me. This is what I mean about the police. Rare. We can't be, someone's called Bobby again. Someone called him again. I can still hear you, Bob.
Sorry, Flex.
You can't hear me.
The fan.
He's gonna come in again. But what I was saying is that if you're gonna protest for the right reasons. Yeah. Don't be out there trying to antagonize security or law enforcement. I get it. Yeah. I get it. What happens is that people want to antagonize the police because they feel the anger and they feel the hurt, and it's the police brutality or being unfairly treated within the police force. I understand that. But the same way, and we've got Bobby back now as well, which is good. The same way I'm saying that, the same way is that there's a black police officer, a white police officer, a Chinese police officer who believe in what we believe in, who believe and want to take a stand against it, and they're probably ashamed to work for the establishment they work for, but they got kids, they got family, they shouldn't have to go to work and have some idiot, coming in their face, just trying to antagonize them and poke them with a stick. Just so
do you know what it is, Flex? Yeah, is people are angry. Yeah, people are angry, and the police represent oppression, especially, I guess, the black community, especially because of what we see that happened. The people that killed George Floyd were police officers. Yeah. So when you're a police officer, you represent all police officers. So that's not right. That's not right. We shouldn't tarnish every police officer. So people are angry. People have had enough. So people want to actually say, you know what? We're going to do it the Malcolm X way. And he was like, you know what? By any means necessary. He was like, you know what? An eye for an eye. They kill one of us, we will kill one of them. And some people are having that mentality. But that mentality, if it's an eye for an eye, everybody turns blind. Then the world doesn't exist because it's a world full of blind people. Yeah. But the issue is that people need something to vent at. People need something to lash out at. And the only people who are indirect, they can't get to the government officials. So the police are the people who are put in there to say, guys, you guys are going to be having to deal with these people's anger. So when people are angry and frustrated, the only people that can take it out on is the police officer. So even if a police officer is like, you know what, guys, just calm down, and he might not be doing anything wrong, it's like, no, you shut up, you represent them. So that anger is fueled within them. Don't get me wrong, there's some people who are like you are saying, are looking for viral moments, who are just there to cause havoc. I mean, one of my friends said that she went there yesterday, and she went there for a cause, but she felt a bit disrespected that people trying to chat her up. And like, she's like, what are you guys here really for? To chat women, or are you here to protest and show our anger and disdain at what's been going on within our community? So you're right, in essence, there are a minority who are going out there to just cause trouble and just to jump on bandwagon without understanding what's going on. But I'll say the vast majority of people going out there are there because they are frustrated, they are angry, they don't mean, I guess, to go at the police, but they are the easiest targets to actually vent that anger at.
They are, and you know what? I agree. I just wanted to highlight, like you said, that smaller minority of, you know, a lot of it is kind of young-minded as well. The whole social media hysterical. It's cool to get likes. It's cool to get follows and a viral video. And you know, some youngsters, we all know all too well the pressures on youngsters to. You know, I used to meet youngsters, or I tell them what I do. The first thing they say is, "How many followers you got? How many likes you got? Shout me out." You know, it's like working with youngsters. It's the new age we live in, and I just hate for that to transpire into getting this message muddled up. You know what I'm saying?
and for me, that's where I guess the legacy would be in a month's time. What we would be talking about?
Yeah,
would there be what distractions would come up, and what things are going to be on the news that no one's going to be talking about this, because we know it happens. We're hardly talking about coronavirus anymore now. Things have sort of moved away from that. That's the biggest thing to ever affect the world in centuries, the whole world. and we're starting to slowly not even talk about that. So if this is something that's been so major and huge to the whole world, something as COVID, it's starting to be less discussed less. What more so than our lives that they're gonna? So it's like we need to stand firm and say, you know what? How far can we take this to affect the change? That means we don't need to talk about it no more because the changes have been affected, the changes have been made. But we can't sort of relent and just say, okay, we've done our job today and that's it. Because like with me, like yourself, I run a platform, you run a platform. I've got other things I want to discuss. I can't just discuss only Black Lives Matter. But I will make sure that I discuss Black Lives Matter, but also discuss whatever else I need to discuss. Because at the end of the day, I also need to look at me and myself and my family, and also know that I'm feeding my family and feeding my children, making sure that they're okay. But the truth of the pudding will be, in a month's time, all these protesters, what was you really standing for? Let us know what you're doing in a month's time to actually continue the work that we're doing. Don't just protest today and in a month's time you're like, oh yeah, you're carrying a knife, you're selling drugs, you're going to shoot someone. Really be about what you want in your community. Really, you're going out there saying you want change. Let's see you in a month's time, in 2 months' time, at the end of the year. Let's have a review on the work that you're doing within your community to actually affect this change. The work that companies are doing, be it your Netflix, be it your Louis Vuittons, be it your Boohoo, Pretty Little Things. All these people have been putting out statements saying we stand with you. Let's see the changes you make within your own companies and structures.
It's key. I mean, that is, you know, we've talked about what white privilege means, because, you know, there's this thing of like, well, what even is that? What do you mean? Like, all lives matter. Like, everybody gets shot. Some people die. Some people get stabbed. Some people get fatally injured or whatever. It's not just black people. You keep getting that of the people not understanding actually what this white privilege phrase actually means. And it,
and the thing is, it's like, for some reason, if you tell people you're pro-black, they seem to think, oh, you're racist. No, being pro-black doesn't mean you're anti-white. Being pro-black is just saying, you know what? We've been sort of restricted for so many years. I want to uplift my people. And my missus runs a platform called itsblackowned.com, where she promotes black premium businesses out there to show the best in sort of black businesses. And they get a lot of sort of backlash and oh, why is it itsblackowned.com? Why can't imagine there was a itswhiteowned.com? And
now you're being racist. You're actually racist.
Yeah, and they're missing the point. It's not about saying this is just for us. It's to say, you know what? Let me champion some of the black organizations that are out there doing things which are less represented, which are less supported, and let's go out there. And even as white people, you guys can actually go on there and also support as well. So this whole thing about white privilege, and they don't understand it. They don't understand it. I was reading something yesterday where a woman, I was listening to Radio 1, I think, where a woman said, you know what? When she sees a black man, if she's walking in the middle of the night and she saw a black man walking on the same side of the street of her, it will make her feel intimidated. And then the black man said, you know what? Like, by you doing that, I have the mentality when I see a white woman and I'm walking, I then have to change my path to make you feel easy, to make you feel like easy. I'm going to walk across the street.
Yes, that there. Actually thinking, how am I going to be perceived if I don't change something? And Rance touched on this on the show that we did. He goes, you know, we're reminded every day that we're black by something. You know, there's no race that has to change as much as we do or be aware of what we have to do to be able to fit in as much as we do. And you know what? I wanted to share this with you. Yeah. I'm not going to say who it is, but I received a long, almost like a long ass. Go on now, hold on. It's like a long ass message like that, right?
Yeah. A
direct message on Instagram. Hey Flex, I was watching the Flex and Rant show earlier today, and all of a sudden I just burst out crying. The reason was is because once I remember sitting in a bar with my girlfriend one day when a group of black men came in and they sat down. I said to my girlfriend, let's go. I did it because I was thinking, what if they are terrorists or are going to be aggressive? What if this and that? But looking back, I'm disgusted with how I acted on that day. And I will make sure again to treat a group, never to treat a group of black men like that in a way I never would have even thought of doing with a group of white men. Thanks for all you do besides the incident. I'm usually a strong supporter of fighting racism, but I feel ashamed of that day. And thank you for making me realize that I've acted wrong before, and that it's important that we all admit that if we are going to really fight racism, not only in others, but within ourselves. And you know what? I could have looked at that now, and that fed into what I was thought about. That's probably more so why I was being like, you have to try and accept change. Like, I don't know that guy. So yeah, I could be being presumptuous. I like to try and see the good in people where I can. That's just the nature of me. Sometimes that backfires against me because I try and see the good in everyone. And sometimes there's not a lot of good in a lot of people. So maybe that's my flaw. But I looked at that and I thought, how angry I am right now. Here is a white guy admitting to me when he's been openly racist with him and his missus. That situation there is something that happens every day.
Yeah.
Every day. The woman in Central Park walking her dog the other day felt threatened by the black man, rang the police. Stupid. You know, people, the stereotypical scenario of the middle-aged white lady walking down the road, sees the black guys, hold on to your bag a little bit tighter just in case. So many stereotypical situations. But I looked at that and I thought, this guy's had the guts to message me and the confidence to message me and say, because of what I was talking about or what we was talking about, it made him think back to a time where he did something disgusting and he feels ashamed and embarrassed of that. But he's now aware of that and wants to make a change. Now, look, I don't know. He could go back to thinking what he thinks straight after. I don't know because I don't know him and I probably will never meet that guy. But I sent him a message back saying, I appreciate your message. Thank you for taking time to understand that self-reflection is necessary in order for us to move forward. And that's the position and the way that we feel as black men and women on a daily basis. And I felt a bit at peace with that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because
and that's all it is. That's all it is. We're asking for understanding of our issues, of what we've been going through. We're asking for change. We're not asking for a lot. We're asking for equality. We're asking for opportunities. And we're not saying give us your jobs. We're saying just give us opportunities. We're not saying give us your homes. Give us opportunities so we can buy our own homes. So that's the thing. I think this misconception of okay, what do these black people want? They wanna take our no. We just asking for equal rights and equal opportunities and to stop the racism because of the color of our skin. Because like I said the other day, you cut us all open, we all bleed the same. The inside of us has no color. No one's blood is blue. No one's blood is green. No one's bones are black. We're all the same inside. So if we're all the same inside because of like you don't treat your dogs different because of this dog is a Dalmatian and this dog is a Labrador. You love your dog the way you love your dog.
The black lab, the white lab, the chocolate lab, all the different labs. They're all the same. They all get treated the same. No one goes, oh, the black lab can piss off. The white lab this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's for me, it's unfortunate and it's very ignorant. And I think, again, it goes back to schools also having that sort of learning to teach kids about, because now, like, they're going into schools and talking about LGBT from a young age. Apparently, they're going to start talking to them about it. Why are we not talking about race at that young age?
Exactly.
Why are we not talking about the segregation and racism and slavery at that young age so these kids understand that it's wrong? This has to be put in the system.
It does. It does. Listen, we've covered a lot, and we've kind of come to the end of the video. Bob, thanks for coming on, man. Is there anything before we big up your socials and what you're doing and drive some traffic? Obviously,
I'd just like to say thank you for having me on your platform. Like, you're someone that I hugely respect as well, and for you to even reach out and say, you know what, you want to touch on this subject, because a lot of people are kind of shying away from speaking about this. And so thank you for actually highlighting it and also putting it out there so people get to understand. And like we were saying, it's not us about bashing white people, bashing other cultures. It's about telling you guys we want you to understand what we've been going through and have empathy with that. I love white people. I love black people. I love Chinese people. I love all people. I don't see a race. I just see people. And we want you guys to see the same. And like I said, Flex, you keep doing what you're doing. You're an amazing guy. And someone, like I said, I hugely respect. In regards to myself, we're just going to keep working hard to try to affect the changes, not just within sort of places of power, but also within our communities. We need to see more black role models who are leading the way for these youth to change their paths.
100%, man. I can't echo that. Big up for the words of encouragement there, Bob. And likewise, that's why I wanted to get you on, man. I mean, we could have done the whole stereotypical thing of, you know, well, you've been in prison and look, at the end of the day, it clearly doesn't matter whether you've been in prison, whether you're working or whether you're don't have a criminal record. The fact of the matter is that we're all being treated unfairly at some point and judged unfairly. and discriminated against at some point. So I didn't even really want to go into that. But you're a massive inspiration to me with everything that you're doing as well. And long may it continue. And I'm sure we'll work on some projects coming up. Where can we find all of what you're doing? Big up all your socials, any websites, any links or whatever, and we'll make sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can follow us on Hackneywick FC at Hackneywick FC. That's for the football club. My personal Twitters, so my personal Instagram is at Bobby Kassanga 20, and at The Life I Live 2019. Over on YouTube, you can subscribe to Hackneywick FC. We're gonna do more content on the football side of things this season. Also on the Big Ego Media Entertainment, where I do a lot of my life stories. And yeah, just jump on board and see what we're doing within our community, and yeah, let's keep inspiring each other.
Make sure you guys get involved. And also, actually, before you go, I know you've been doing them care packages and that, and the food and stuff like that, cooking up the food. Keep that up, man.
Yeah, that's been non-stop. I mean, I've got about 25 orders today, so I'm kind of tired, but I'm gonna go and start getting ready to start doing the food delivery. So yeah, like people in Luton are asking me. I know you're based in Luton, I think. Yeah, we're looking to do a Luton and Birmingham and Milton Keynes trip soon. So I'll keep it posted.
Nationwide, yeah.
Yeah.
Black businesses, love that, Bob. Love that.
We're trying, man. We're trying.
Guys, thanks for watching the Flex today. We'll make sure all of Bobby's links are in the video description below. Smash a like on the video, and more importantly, get commenting. However awkward you may feel or however passionate you may feel, I want to hear from you guys. Look, my YouTube channel's fairly new. It's only got 2,500 subscribers in a short amount of time. That's great, and it's rising. But this is going to go out onto my Instagram, onto my Twitter, which has a lot bigger platform. And just keep sharing, keep raising awareness, guys, and don't stand silent. Don't stay silent. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't be complicit in this and just stay shy away from it. We have to keep discussing this. And like Bobby said, where are we going to be in 1, 2, 3, 4 months' time, a year's time, 18 months' time, etc., etc. We want to see that we've made some real progress. Thanks for watching, guys. Smash a like on the video, and I'll see you guys very, very soon.
Yeah.